Well, hey everybody, it's HeapCVA. Welcome to my channel. So much going on. Thank you so much for coming by. Yes, after being gone for longer than I really wanted to, I'm back at it. As you've seen from a couple of videos I've already posted. And what I'm doing today, and I'm going to make a couple of changes because they really help me get things done. Oh, not right now. Is talk about what's going on with me, this tech demo, and where we go from here. So let's talk about why the gap. After the last of the 3.0.3 blah 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 updates, I had kind of lost a little bit of excitement for the tech demo because it seemed like they were kind of bogged down. The multiplayer was what they're focused on, and so I looked towards other games that I have. Add to that there was a lot of stuff going on the forums which I didn't want any part of, even though I have to go to the forums constantly to check to see if anything has been changed in the tech demo. You know, additional uploads, seeing if there's any bugs and stuff that they really jumped on really good or really quickly, and things like that. And quite honestly, I got so tired of some of the things that were being posted by people, some of which had not spent any money on the game, but had already made up their mind based on not much. If you're believing a lot of the people that come to those forums and what those people say, and they don't give you the location of where the game they put together that's better is, then just add them to the list of people that are like, yeah, thanks. Because that's what I do. That keeps me sane, I'm telling you. And it'll only get worse over time. I had thought back then, if I don't step away for just a bit, focus on some other things. I went on this road trip to pick up some photographs that you're starting to see them trickle out as the old Firehouse series. And so I got moving down another path. Did I want to take some video of some responding vehicles going code 3 somewhere? I sure did. Didn't see one in all the states that we went to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different states. Didn't see anything going code 3 except things in my dreams, so to speak. So there's that. Fortunately, waiting that month, some things kind of got into gear. And I will talk about them more in a little bit, but don't forget to go check out their latest post in YouTube, or their upload. That's their Q&A, which was just recently uploaded. It's pretty new. It's got a lot of information, and the couple things I need to point out, and then I'll go back to the tech demo itself. Make sure you listen to the whole thing and listen to the 3 new members of the team that are putting this together. I'm hoping, based on what I heard, is that this tech demo and FlipSwitch, etc., is going to suddenly jump way ahead of where it's been kind of mired in the mud a little bit with all the issues going on, the personal issues for certain people. And all of a sudden you have this other group of people with some pretty good skill sets getting involved and kind of taking control of certain segments of the game. And I'm hearing some things that give me an opportunity to be feel optimistic, I guess. And so we'll talk about those more in a minute, but I had to throw that out there. This is the 4th attempt at putting this video together for a number of reasons, and I apologize. I did have some issues that I had moved my microphone to make room for something else, and what I realized is that was a huge mistake. I moved some wiring around to make that work. And what I got out of it that I didn't know until I started putting the videos together in Premiere Pro is I was getting so much background sound, you guys could have hardly understood a word I said. And I feel bad about that because I know better. So hopefully these will come out better, the sound will go back to normal, and we won't have issues like I had been having through takes 1, take 2, and take 3. It's embarrassing. I actually have 2 uploaded on YouTube that I've got to get rid of, that I didn't realize the one was so bad until I always play it one more time while I'm doing the exit card on the end, and that's when I heard how bad the audio was. You know, that's 6 or 7 hours to do all that stuff with art and everything else. Plus, I'm learning how to use Premiere Pro, and while I get it, there are some things that sometimes seem to work and sometimes don't, and it's so much different than Vegas, Sony Vegas. It takes a step back to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with that thing, and the output makes sense. So that's that. These are lame excuses. They're the only ones I've got. Let's talk about what we're doing right this minute as we're sitting inside this firehouse where 30 engine and 74 truck are, and trying to figure out where does a single player go and where are we at right this minute. And I can tell you in fairly short notice, not if you're a single player and you don't have no intent of dealing with multiplayer, and I was in that group, you're pretty much where you were with the exception of graphics. You're in the same place you were several months ago. What can we do in this tech demo right now? We can drive fire trucks. We can drive police vehicles. We can drive ambulances. What else can you do? Nothing. And so that's pretty much where we still are. Now, we get these calls, which I don't know why they're so loud considering I literally turned the volume down, so I'm going to put it to 0 for right now. I just don't want the distraction, if you will. So, I mean, we can go outside. Let me click yes for this. This is, those of you that have a computer that's struggling with this tech demo right now, these are the things that give you an opportunity to not load all of the graphics into the game, if you didn't already know that, so that you can save your computer for what's important, which is driving the fire apparatus, setting up the ladder, etc. Hopefully sometime downstream, it'll be to save enough graphics to run your character and pull the hose line and put the fire out. But we are so far away from that yet. And I don't say that as a negative, it's just a statement, okay? Don't take it good or bad, it just is. And I mean, until I see otherwise, how can anybody say much more? So let me click yes on this. You only click once. It barely looks like anything has happened. It gets slightly darker for a split second and it's gone. Now I said yes, so if we back out, you guys already knew this. We got trees. Woohoo. I get it that it's street furniture and they're adding it over time. I could go back and lengthen my view down the street. You know how to do that by coming into visual and sliding, and you can actually see it. If I go all the way to the end and do this, this is pretty much the length of the island. Now, I'm still at 50 frames. I'm okay with that just for what we're talking about right now. Would I do it in regular gameplay? Probably not. Because obviously you want the most of your graphics capacity for fire apparatus, police vehicles, ambulances, and other EMS vehicles, and downstream your characters and their movements. And the more movement we put in this game, the more of a headlock that it puts your graphics card in. So whatever you can do to cut that down a little bit is going to be to your advantage. That's one of the reasons that even with the graphics, and if we zoom back in and you look at the buildings, to me, these are pretty nice looking right now. And I'm at the fastest setting, and that is what graphics level are you using in the tech demo. And you can go all the way up to fantastic. I think that's the word for the top one. Do I care about that much? Right now, no, because it's not about the looks to me as it is about playability. The looks will come. As they optimize, the looks come. I mean, these graphics are so much better than they were months ago, so I'm not worried about that. That isn't what I'm freaked out about at all. So, there's that. Where's my firehouse? There it is. I'm going to go back down in the firehouse because quite honestly, not an hour ago, and there it is. See? What happens here? Notice that we went out to look at something, and all of a sudden, I'm missing part of my firehouse. Do you notice that? See if I can turn around and go the other way. What happened to my fire station? I lost part of the, and I lost all of the furniture. I really don't like using the middle mouse button to do this. It's just a little bugged, and it's frustrating. And some of it has to do with my mouse, which is another thing to tell you about is this mouse, which is a Corsair M65 gaming mouse, is pretty much had it. I'm using it right now. The middle button's kind of shot. The left button is definitely shot. Half the time I get double clicks instead of single clicks. I will have to tell you, the thing has lasted me close to 3 years, which is a record for me for gaming mice. I'm very tough on them, especially when I was in the clan playing Call of Duty. I went through a lot of gaming mouse over the time, or mice, or mices, whatever you want to call them, over time, trying to find one that would fit my hand, my style, the way I hold the mouse, which is kind of flat-handed versus a claw. And if you don't know what that is, look for it on Google. It'll show you. It's how your fingers are positioned to push the buttons. I bought the M65 when I first moved into the place we're at now. I liked it. It was a little on the small side, but it made up for it in how it responded. And I've just flat worn it out. And so I'm hoping that my new one shows up tomorrow, which is weird to get deliveries on Sundays, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So we loaded the street furniture and ramped up some of the graphics. I wonder if that has anything to do with the loss of stuff over time as it loads in and unloads things. But notice everything's gone. And why? Why does it keep doing that out of nowhere? I don't have any fire apparatus showing. I can open the doors and you can see there's no cars out here because the fire apparatus are what kind of get them going. That middle mouse button is just about done. One more day. Come on, baby. One more day. I'm almost smashing the thing. I'm having to push so hard on it. So, I don't know. It's just kind of the weirdness that seems to be happening lately. I can't explain it. And so let's talk about what we can see right now that may be different than the last time I saw you. And I'm probably not telling you anything you didn't already know. Number one, there's some better graphics. We had that little box to load the trees in. Maybe I shouldn't have loaded them in. I don't know. We have the unit toggle here, which you can access with F5, which will call up single vehicles and all it does is call them on the map. You do not have control over them. The only way you get control is pushing F6 and getting the slide out from the right, which is, we're used to seeing this in various forms out of that arrow button up there, which I don't like because it's too close to the edge of the screen, and because they still haven't captured the mouse on the right hand border. My mouse cursor will go into the other monitor because I have two, and if I click, it'll shrink the game down to the taskbar. So I like that this exists here to give me a chance to call a vehicle onto the screen without messing up what I'm doing. I like that. Now I'm just calling 30 up just to show you. Now I zoomed back on my distance, view distance, to 0 again. So I'm wondering as we move around if I'll get some of my fire station or firehouse, depending on which side of the country you're on, furniture back, or if it's gone forever. Now remember, when you call them from this list, you got control of them, and I don't know why it starts you in such a weird place, but okay, whatever. So if we go in here and open the door, open sesame, and there's 30. I don't know why in the free fly thing that you cannot use the right mouse button like you can when you're on the apparatus, and stop using the middle mouse button for that. I'd like to save the middle mouse button for something that you only do every once in a while. So in any event, notice there's traffic outside now. That's nice. Did I get any of my furniture back or any of the parts? No. This is just like it was when we first started the tech demo months ago. So anyway, you've seen this come up. It's called an MDT, or mobile data terminal. F1 calls it up. You can force an emergency with 1084. So if you look at the top row of buttons underneath the screen, the second from the right is 10.8. That clears any emergencies. That's what I've been doing to tell it to be quiet. And 1084 will create an emergency immediately. So if you're waiting and you're bored and you want something to go on, you just crank it up that way. F3 only works if you're in a police vehicle, because it is part of that overlay that allows you to modify police vehicles, and then you can get rid of that off the screen by clicking F3. So we're not seeing it right now because I'm in a firehouse with a pumper. We talked about F5 is the unit toggle. Like I said, where I see this as a benefit right this minute, and what we can do is I can uncheck that, and that pumper is back in rotation, if you will. I have to go back to clicking the middle mouse button, unfortunately. But I don't have to try to back into a firehouse. You know, that's one of the few things that you really can't fool with in a game setting like you can in real life. Even if they make the mirrors work, and I haven't ever turned them on, it would be interesting if that actually worked the way you wanted it to. So that's that, and it seems to work pretty good. I'm not going to fuss over it too much. Like I said, I'm not, you know, these little things, little details that are just furniture is not as important as the mechanics of how to play a game versus a tech demo. So let's scoot over here so I can tell you one thing that is over here that we're going to see, and it kind of segues me into something else I want to talk about, which is the Q&A that came down that's on YouTube right now. And I had seen buildings like this. I guess it's a Pizza Hut now, which is a licensed name. Maybe they've got permission to do that. That's cool. How some buildings have furniture that you can see through the windows. And I know we could probably all guess what that was, is assuming that we could eventually go into that building somehow. But in the level that we were at for single player, that wasn't going to happen. Well, in the Q&A, they show in the multiplayer the character going in and out of these buildings. The doors are open, allow them to walk in. So that tells me that that has moved up. Now, is that in 0.5? I think so. There are so many things coming in at the start of 0.5 that it's going to really change the way that we look at this. The map is different. If he throws down subways in 0.5 instead of one of the smaller extensions of 0.5, even just looking around is going to take you a while, because you're literally going to have to relearn the map because of the numbers of things that will change. Two things that really excite me, and they're things that the new team guys talked about. And number one on my list, because of issues that I've dealt with since the beginning, is operating the apparatus, the ladder on the ladder trucks and all that stuff, and that the keyboard, if I can get it without getting out here. Oh, shoosh. See, I got the it is literally off. The audio is literally off. And it's blowing my eardrums out right now. How is that possible? So let me back out of here, because it does get quieter a little bit. There's just spots. It's like pockets of this noise. And I'm trying to find a place where it shushes. I don't know why it's doing that. It should not do that at all. And now it's kind of stuck. And it's annoying me. I wanted to show you one thing while we're over here that finally got fixed, that I noticed that I didn't notice before. If I can get in here. It's right here. There it is. See, it's shut down. I don't know why it's doing that. I would say that's called a bug. So let's get in here real quick. We'll peek behind these towers, and there is 32, and I'll quiet the noise down. You'll never know that this was an annoying thing that I'm hearing right now. You guys won't notice this. Here's 32, 66 truck, etc. And remember, we were having this issue where the cars were parked wrong, and we were having, all of a sudden, we were responding out this direction, which means a left turn out of the firehouse, and going around the block to like head for 49's house. They finally figured it out and done it all. You now go back to turning right, go straight to this intersection here, and move on down the road. So that makes me happy. But that's just a small little pat on the back that doesn't get the single player any further than it did before. So anyway, that's enough for single player. It is what it is, what it is. Let's talk about the QA and some things that popped up out of that as a result. And where do I have to go to find quiet? For crying out loud. I'm going to try to hide in the firehouse, see if that works. Where am I at here? These are the little things. Look at something else too. Did I not come out and there was a park there? And now look what's there now. So you can see that for everything that gets fixed, 5 things break. That's at least staying constant. You know, and I hate to be negative. I'm not negative. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is to really do the level of stuff they really want the end game to be. I'm just wondering if they're going to have to do it in steps, and we're going to have to download things over time. So notice there's still no more furniture in here. That's fine, but it's quieter. Like I said, you don't hear that as much. I'll turn that down when I do the video. Let's talk about the Q&A because I don't want to take too much time up. Two things I got out of it, and we were just starting to talk about it when I got interrupted, is remapping the keyboard to your preferences. And I hope they get that done in 0.5. Sounds like they can. The next thing is adding the code into the base tech demo / game, hopefully not just in multiplayer, to be able to use a controller like a Xbox controller or a Logitech controller or even a wheel if that's possible. I know the key stick or the joystick type definitely he's got on his radar, but I don't know, I can't remember if he said anything about the wheel controllers or not. If they can do that, that is going to really, I'll go back in single player to driving around again, because with the joysticks, it's a learning curve, number one, and number two, you're going to actually be able to drive the vehicles like a normal human being instead of this jerking around stuff that is now, because the A and D keys are not smooth. They can't be. It's not what they're made for. Looking forward to that. There's some other things they're talking about doing. A lot of it is multiplayer based, and I just got to get my mind around it. So much so that, and I'm going to tell you this because I can't count how many people ask me, why haven't you checked out the multiplayer? When are we going to see some multiplayer? And I put it off. And I politely told people, it's just not what I'm going to do yet. It's not ready. I'm not ready. Blah, blah, blah. Enough excuses. We're going to see multiplayer this week. And if I can get my act together, and I'm promising you that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I do, we're going to do it in a live stream environment. The first go around where you see me check out the multiplayer on a server that I host on my own. I'm going to password protect it so that I don't get surprises from people popping in. The way they've got this set up right now, unless it changes when I do this, is actually pretty good. And I can get a West Coast server. And so I don't have this big lag monster come and get me. And I can get a video out on the current state of the multiplayer just to show you what's going on. Then my thought process is whoever, hopefully people show up to the live stream, number one. Number two is to talk to those people and ask questions about what they're thinking about, where they think the game's going, what we can do on live stream. Is there any interest in doing some multiplayer where we actually have more than just myself in the multiplayer server doing some things, and see how much interest I get in that. I would really like to know. And then what I believe I'll have finally done, what I thought I was doing, was to give you a complete picture of this tech demo. Because for the last 21 videos, I haven't shown you the multiplayer side. Other than what you see in other videos, I haven't been doing that for you. And to me, that's a fail. It's funny how I have the volume on 0 and it's gone back to full blast in my ears. You won't hear it, but that is broken. So talk about broken. I believe this is broken. Now, I know I'm just saying that out of the blue, but having the volume come back after you take it to 0 tells me there's a huge problem. And it's been a problem since almost day one. I am actually sending them something this time. I guess it's the sheer volume of complaints finally gets them to deal with stuff, and that's what we're going to do. So with that being said and what you heard, hopefully you're interested. If you are, leave me comments, questions, concerns, all that stuff, suggestions on how to get a YouTube-based live stream up without it blowing up on me or doing something foolish or dying on me before it should, and what you think is a reasonable amount of time for a live stream to be up. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on that. If you don't have anything for me in that respect, if you could just take the time to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I'd really appreciate it. Thumbs up means I'm doing a good job. Thanks so much. And if I get a thumbs down, it means that something I did wasn't quite squared away, didn't make any sense or whatever. That forces me to look at the video again and find mistakes I might have made so I don't repeat them. That being said, hope you guys are having a great day, great evening, wherever you are on the planet. Hopefully things are going your way. I know for a fact we're going to see each other in another video. I know for a fact we're going to bump into each other in a live stream coming up soon. I'm going to try to do it within the next 5 days. And keep your fingers crossed everything goes good in that respect. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Hope the rest of it is as good as the first day was. Hope your week next week is good. You guys take care, and we will see each other in the next video.